So great catching up with my next guest, the number 8 ranked lightweight, Dan the Hangman Hooker, back here on the program. Dan, how's it going?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Drag me out of bed. Nah, I'm joking. I'm just being lazy. I'm sleeping in.
What's a sleep-in for you? I'm curious. Because for me, a sleep-in's like 7 in the morning because I have kids, or a kid, I should say.
Well, my daughter was sleeping in the bed, so she obviously didn't wake me up because she was quite happy there. So it was 8:30.
Good stuff. Okay, well, yeah, right on the dot then, so to speak. So I appreciate you doing this in the morning. It's great to talk to you, man. I know it's been a little bit since we chatted, but we had this big fight on Saturday at UFC 264. It is Dustin Poirier getting the win via TKO, doctor stoppage, an injury to McGregor. Just your reaction to that whole situation and how it unfolded with Conor and Dustin on Saturday night.
Yeah, like pretty wild way to end it. Yeah, I didn't see how bad the break was till the photos started coming out, and he just looks like Captain Hook, and he's like hopping on the nub. I was like, man, he's like full on broke his leg. You know, at first I was like, what? Like was he going to be able to recover in the round? But nah, like that snapped. That's a fight in then and there. But yeah, just as he does, that's what makes Conor McGregor so dangerous, is that he comes out and he's like an incredibly fast starter. But that's a dangerous game, like just coming out and just winging kicks without really finding your opponent or finding the range. That's like a pretty dangerous way to approach the fight.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate. I think we're hearing now, I mean, minimum McGregor could come back as next year with, you know, the break and everything. We're sort of seeing some updates. I don't know if you've ever suffered an injury that bad. I don't think so. But do you think Conor will ever be the same from suffering an injury like that, especially, you know, in the prime of his career?
That's up to him. That's not a call anyone else can make. You know, Dominic Cruz coming back from multiple ACL tears, which is pretty much like the worst possible injury there is. So I feel like those are far more serious. Like if I had to pick personally between a torn ACL and a broken leg, I would take the broken leg, because you have the surgery, it gets pulled back into place, the bone is set, and then there's no longer any worry about it once the bone is healed after 6 weeks. But it's like an ACL tear can take 6 months, a year, and then they tear again, and then you're going around in circles. So I feel like, but it's entirely up to him. Fairly straightforward injury to recover from. For me, I think they'll do Diaz. They'll do Diaz. That's what I would.
You mean Conor and Diaz for his return fight?
Yeah, Conor Diaz. Like that fight's another one that kind of has to happen. So it's like that's like a good fight to get him back on track.
We found out the judges, I think 2 of them had scored the round 10-8 for Dustin. Did you agree with that being a 10-8 round? Because I think some people have suggested that a lot of the damage was done when he was actually injured, and then it was the referee who stepped in, and then they realized it was an injury. But did you think that was a 10-8 round?
Oh, like that definitely would have been taken into account, and that's something like you didn't see. But that was like, yeah, like that's under the new scoring system, right? Where like 10-8 rounds are like handed out far more leniently, I think. Yeah, I wouldn't argue against that being a 10-8 round whatsoever.
We also found out, kind of under the radar, that Rafael dos Anjos was going to be the backup for this fight. Were you surprised to hear that?
Yeah, well, that didn't get announced till at the last minute that he was going to be the backup. Yeah, like someone had to step up to the plate and be the backup. Like that's like with me taking the risk of the last fight, like that definitely played a part in it, taking, the Michael Chandler fight, or whatever, but just playing that McGregor roulette, at the time someone gets injured and someone has to step into that main event. That's the kind of paycheck that can change your life. So that had to play a part in it.
Some other highlights on that card, I'm sure you were checking it out. Tai Tuivasa knocking out Greg Hardy. What did you think of that?
Yeah, that was wild. That was wild. I was pretty excited about that one. Massive, massive name for him. I feel like he can be the best in the world. You know, if Ty is in a good place and he's training well, I really feel like he's one of the best heavyweights in the world. A guy like Greg Hardy, that's like a real fun fight for him. You know, that's not a fight. Like when I was seeing the interviews and Greg Hardy saying, "Yeah, I'm just gonna stand with him. I picked this fight because I'm gonna stand with him." I was like, "Is he?" I was like thinking there was gonna be some kind of like bit of mental warfare going on there where he was trying to trick Ty or something like that. But yeah, that's not a good idea, eh? Not with Ty. Like he could man, he could punch a truck over. Like that guy hits so hard. Yeah, I'm happy to see him, you know, on a 3-fight knockout streak and back in a good place.
At the top of your division right now, Charles Oliveira is the lightweight champ. We haven't talked since that fight with him and Michael Chandler. Were you expecting Charles to beat Chandler the way he did? It was a very, very, very close fight, and then obviously it's Oliveira who gets the finish and takes home the title.
Yeah, that was another wild one, back and forth. They both got, you know, Chandler had him hurt early on in the fight, and then he comes back, and it's just the sport at that level, at the level like we're playing it at. Like anyone can kind of beat anyone anywhere. So it's dangerous no matter who you're facing when it comes down to those that, you know, top 5, top 10. Everyone's sharp. Everyone's a strong finisher. So I'm not at all surprised. Like it was back and forth. Say you run that fight back 10 times, you're probably going to get 10 different results. And like the fighters, the fighters definitely know that. Like that's definitely we know how like razor thin that the sport is and how quickly it can change. Yeah, it's something that I feel like a lot of fans don't take seriously. They're like, nah, he would have done that every single time they fought, and it's like, oh man.
Yeah, styles make fights, and obviously those are two. I mean, it doesn't get much closer than that in terms of that matchup as well. It hasn't been officially announced, but it looks like Poirier will fight Charles Oliveira next for the title. I noticed the odds came out on that, Poirier being the favorite. Is that how you see the fight? Do you think, would you favor Poirier in that matchup, or would you give the edge to the champ, Charles Oliveira?
Yeah, I would lean towards Poirier for that fight. Like it's still early days, but I would lean towards Poirier. Just like strong wrestling, strong striking, strong submission defense. And just the momentum he's riding at the moment, he'd just be a hard guy to beat.
I agree with that. Well, let's get to you, man. What's the latest with you? I know we haven't seen you since that last fight, but is there anything on the horizon right now, or any idea when you're looking to fight next?
I have been harassing the UFC. I have been. I tried to get on Izzy's card when Izzy for
Marvin Vettori.
When I as soon as I heard about that, I just messaged the UFC and I said, I'll fight anyone on that day. Give me anyone. And they came back and said, you know, no one's uninjured or unbooked at the moment, so you're going to have to wait. And then Volkanovski's card, the Volkanovski Ortega September, I said the same thing. I said, man, I'll fight anyone. Give me a fight on this date. And so I'm still, that one's up in the air. I'm still waiting to hear back for that one at the moment. They still haven't come to me with anything, but it's I believe Israel's going to fight again before the end of the year. So it's like if I can't get an opponent for that one, then I'll have to jump back on Israel's card again. So yeah, that's just the position I'm in. I haven't been approached with anything. I have said anybody, and I'm just waiting to hear back.
Yeah, and on that note, I mean, it seems like some of these matchups are sort of unfolding, and there's a lot of other fighters out there who don't have fights either, so that's what makes this a bit surprising. Is there sort of an ideal opponent for you in terms of your next fight? I know you'll fight anyone, but if you had first pick, is there anyone you'd want to fight that you haven't fought yet?
Like that's one I was kind of surprised by, like RDA stepping in there and making weight, but because the last I had heard he was injured. he had to pull out of that main event fight against Makhachev. So to see that he'll make weight and prepare to be the backup like a week before the fight that he was scheduled to have is a bit of a funny one. That's definitely a fight that I would like, former champion. RDA is definitely a fight that I could like. For me, fun wise, it's got to be Tony Ferguson, and I said I will fight Tony, but I don't want to fight him if he's still, carrying injuries from his last one, because he got his heel twisted the other way, so I don't even know if he can walk yet. So that's if he's healthy, I would love to get at it with Tony Ferguson. But those are two names. Beneil Dariush is another one without a fight. But yeah, those are three guys that I would be happy to mix it up.
When was the last time you spoke to the UFC?
For a couple of weeks ago, and they told me that they would look for a fight for me on the September card that Volkanovski's booked on.
Well, hopefully that works out. I know you probably want to fight sooner. Like, you don't have a preference if you're fighting on Volkanovski's card or Israel's card, do you? I guess you just want to fight.
It's like those are just two dates where like my team will be ready to go. Like, it's quite hard coming from this side of the world with like the quarantines and getting like being able to get back. Like, you have to like book your spot to get back into the country. So that makes things like a lot more difficult. My coaches have families and things like that, so it's like you don't want to drag them away for a month or two from their families. That's just something that I'm not prepared to do. So those are two dates: the Volkanovski card or Israel's card, where my coaches are free and they're good to go, and they can come and help me get the job done.
Talk about Volkanovski in a sec, because obviously he's coaching the Ultimate Fighter. We do have a big lightweight fight this Saturday with a name you just mentioned there, Islam Makhachev taking on Thiago Moises. Islam Makhachev is like a huge favorite. I don't know if you saw the odds. It's like boxing odds. Like, he's like, I think like almost minus 1,000 against Thiago Moises. How do you think that fight plays out on Saturday? Because it's an interesting matchup, and obviously they're putting a lot of stock in Islam with him being the main event of this card over someone like Miesha Tate.
Like, I don't know who the other kid is, so that's I don't think I've seen who did he
Thiago Moises.
Fight?
So he beat Alexander Hernandez in his last fight. I don't know if you remember that fight. And then before that, he had a pretty controversial win over Bobby Green, if you remember. I think a lot of people felt like Green, did enough to win that fight, and it went Moises' way. And then the fight before that, he submitted Michael Johnson. So I don't know if this is ringing a bell at all. He trains at ATT. He's a Brazilian kid.
Nah. Like, I don't know.
No worries. No,
like,
it's understandable.
Yeah. Like, I definitely know, like, Islam, like, he's one that's been, like, chirping for a while. So it'll be good to see him, like, come into there, step into a main event and see what he can do. I know he's, like, just behind me in the rankings. So that's another fight there. He gets the job done and he says my name, then that's something that me, like the fighter in me, is hard for me to go past, if you know what I mean. But it's like, you sell that fight and we can make it happen.
Interesting. Okay, so if Islam wins on Saturday, that's another potential opponent that you're looking at.
Yeah, for sure. Any of them.
Have you been watching The Ultimate Fighter? I know your good buddy and teammate Alexander Volkanovski is one of the coaches. Have you been tuning in? I know the time difference might be a little bit of a challenge.
I've just seen like a couple of highlights of the stuff I have on just like on my to-do list to sit down and watch the series.
Is that something you'd ever want to do, is coach that show?
Nah.
Okay. I like the honesty. No, but I don't blame you, because you're stuck there for, even in Alex's case, right? He's been away from home for a while, right?
Oh, it's like, not really that. It's not really that. It's, I don't know. I feel like that's just like sharing a bit too much of your system or like to me, this is still like warfare. Like, you have to be very smart, about what you show other people. It's like, even though you might not be giving anything away, really, you're giving like an insight into your program and your system. So for me to do it justice and give like an honest coaching experience of the actual system that like we train under or we teach, I don't think I could just give it away like that to fighters that I have no like real investment in. It's like these aren't guys that I've trained for 5 years, 10 years. I feel like those fighters deserve my attention a little bit more.
Have you spoken to Alex about the show? Because I know he's sort of come out and said that there's been some issues with Ortega, right? About him showing up late and things of that nature. Have you guys spoken about that at all?
Nah, no, nothing. I've seen like that. I've seen him like having something's like grinding his gears about Ortega, but nah, I don't know too much. I'm gonna sit down and watch the show today. Now you've
now piqued your interest. Well, I was going to ask you because like Alex doesn't seem like a guy to, like, I don't know, maybe you can tell me, you train with him. Like, is he a guy that gets aggravated every now and then? I know everyone does to a certain degree, but it just seems kind of out of character. So, I mean, I think there's some truth to maybe what he's saying there.
Nice. Like, there must be, like from where I'm sitting, whatever he's saying there must be something behind it. Because, like Alex is just a stand-up bloke. So obviously Ortega's doing something that kind of goes against that. But I would honestly have to watch the show to see. But yeah, Alex is not that kind of guy to create drama for the sake of drama. That's just not, that's just not who he is.
Did you happen to catch the Euros at all? Do you watch soccer? Or football, as I know they say in Europe?
No.
No, you didn't watch it? I didn't either. So we're
we don't play that. Nah, New Zealand is not like the bigger. I don't want to say that because we obviously have like huge soccer fans, but we'll probably go like rugby league.
Yeah, cricket. The All Blacks. That's what you guys are known for, right? Yeah, even I know that. So to learn a thing or two. You talked about training a bit there. One thing I wanted to ask you, I know you've done some training in Thailand before. Did you ever get to train with Rafael Fiziev?
Nah.
No? Okay.
Nah, I never trained with Rafael. He was like at the gym at the same time. I'm not even sure if he had like really transitioned to MMA at that point. He might have still been kickboxing, but he's like a stand-up dude. He's like a cool dude. We're like in the gym at the same time, but just never never trained together. Probably just more like a timing thing, or we had different schedules.
When the pandemic eases up a little bit with the travel restrictions, do you think you'll ever go back and train down in Thailand? Yeah.
So I know the Hickman brothers are opening like a new camp in Thailand. So they've left Tiger Muay Thai, the Hickman brothers, George and Frank Hickman, and they're like starting their own school. And so that's something that I couldn't pass up. You know, those are two of my very good friends. So I would have to make a trip out to Thailand and you know, support them and their new venture.
Two more quick questions. I saw Israel was watching the fights on the weekend, and he was wearing a Phoenix Coyotes jersey, which is an NHL team. I thought that was so random. Do you have any insight into this? Because as a Canadian who loves hockey, I was so interested in seeing that.
Nah, we just over in New Zealand, we just like wear them because they look cool. We have absolutely no interest in like the actual sport. I understand that because I have someone gave it to me. I got it like for free from somewhere, but I have like a 76ers like full. It's a cool ass looking tracksuit. Like I got the slick
like a warm up tracksuit or something.
Like, yeah, like top pants, like hat and everything. And every now and then, like we'll just wear the hat and. They're like, damn, you're a huge like Philadelphia 76ers. And I'm just like, nah, like I don't even know what they play. Like it just looks cool. We just wear
isn't it the worst? Like you get given something from someone and then you wear it and people think you're like a huge fan and they start talking to you about it and you're like, I just think it looks cool, you know?
My bad. I'm like, my bad.
Other than catching up on The Ultimate Fighter, are you watching anything else on TV right now or playing any video games? What's downtime looking like aside from being a dad?
Get a bit of Warzone, but I'm actually my schedule is like pretty busy at the moment. Just between coaching and training, like I haven't really stopped training. I'm in the gym. I'm in the gym every single day lately. So yeah, I'm pretty busy at the gym.
What did you think? Last thing, I know I said that was the last question, but I did remember one other. Habib, we found out yesterday, was actually offered George St. Pierre, but he said, no, I'm done. I'm staying retired. Your thoughts on that, with Habib deciding to just stay retired?
Oh, that's fair enough, man. That's fair enough. Like what he's done to go undefeated and to build that kind of record, that's something that no one else has. That's something that no one else has, and that's probably something that no one else will ever do again. So it's like, how many more times do you want to play like Russian roulette? It's like easy for me because I've got like heaps of losses, so it's like it's easy for me to jump back on because the highs and lows I'm not. But to be like the only guy with a perfect record in MMA, to be like a multiple world champ that's an incredible achievement. It will never be copied again. So I can definitely understand him not want to take that risk.
Dan, thanks for setting that alarm a little bit earlier this morning and getting up and doing this interview. I really appreciate it, man. It's always good to catch up with you. Anything you want to plug before we get out of here? Any sponsors, any social media, anything like that? I'll give you the last word.
No, I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy. Thanks. Thanks for getting in touch and thanks for having me on.